Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped the other day entitled French Military Expelled from Africa Again. Now, in that video, I spoke about how the president of Chad made a declaration demanding the immediate departure of the French military and the closure of all French military bases. Now, on that same exact day, Senegal made the same declaration. The president of Senegal demanded the immediate exit of all French military personnel. Now, this video is also going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped last night entitled France Apologizes for the 1944 Senegal Massacre, where the president of France wrote a letter to the Senegalese government basically apologizing due to the fact that during World War II, French soldiers had massacred black men who were serving in the French army. Hundreds of black men were murdered in cold blood. So the French government, after many decades, after damn near a century, finally acknowledged their guilt in this affair. And in return, the president of Senegal said, pack up your military base, it's time to go home. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, let's get into it. As you can see by the headline, Senegal's leader says France should close all military bases inside the country. Chad breaks off military pact with France. Senegal wants French troops out. Now, if you look at this map that I got up on the screen, you'll see I labeled an X on all the countries where France has been kicked out, right? Niger got an X, Burkina Faso got an X, Mali got an X, Senegal got an X. And in this map, it doesn't say Chad because Chad is Central Africa. This is a map of West Africa, but also Chad would also have an X to it. So that's five nations in the course of less than 5 years where France has been told, it's time to get the hell up out the country. It's time to go home, bro. It's time to go home. Now, let's jump into some of these articles. The French army has always considered Chad its stronghold in Africa, a virtual aircraft carrier in the middle of the desert that must be preserved at all costs. Despite recent headwinds out of the Sahel, home to one of France's 5 military bases on the continent, and where generations of French officers have served since independence in 1960, the country announced on Thursday that it was breaking off the defense agreement between the two countries. This decision marks a historic turning point, according to the Chad diplomatic statement, which added that the time had come to fully assert its sovereignty and redefine its strategic partnerships. Chad's decision will require French troops around 1,000 to leave the landlocked Central African country. Chad is the latest nation asking France to withdraw its forces after Paris was forced to pull its military out of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger following military coups. Just a few hours earlier, the Senegalese president said France should close its military bases inside the country. God damn. Let's go. Now, I just want to give an apology, a formal apology to the president of Senegal, right? Because when he first came to power, I made a lot of videos. I was very skeptical about him. I was doubting him. I didn't think he had it in him. I thought he was a coward. I thought he was in the pocket of France. When he went to go visit Macron a few months ago, I was like, man, this dude is an Elysee boy. He not a real one. But I got to eat my words. But I told you in those videos, I said, we got to wait and see. We got to wait and see. Some of y'all wanted him to immediately get into power and start giving out decrees and declarations. But listen, we had to wait and see. I know it's been very exciting to watch Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, take power by force and then give out declarations and tell the French it's time to go home. But it's okay to do things different ways. As long as we go to the same destination, it's okay to go about things in a different way. You see, when it came to the president of Senegal, he went to the elections, he ran for president, he won the elections. But when he came to power, the opposition held the majority of the seats in parliament. So he couldn't really take any action immediately, right? So what he did was he dissolved the government. He dissolved the parliament. Take a look up on the screen. Senegal's president dissolves the parliament to call a snap legislative election, right? And after the votes were cast, his party ended up getting a majority of the seats in parliament. So now he was in a position to really take real action because now he holds the majority. Now take a look up on the screen. Senegalese president's party secures a large parliamentary majority. And immediately after that happened, take a look up on the screen. Senegal's president seeks the withdrawal of French troops. So listen, I got to eat my words, man. President of Senegal, Diomaye Faye, my apologies, big bro. I'm sorry. I was talking shit. I was talking down on your name, but I got to put respect on your name, bro. I got to put respect on your name. But that's why I said we got to wait and see. I did not write him off. I said some things. I was doubting him, but I never wrote him off, though. I said we got to wait and see. Give the brother some time. And now, you know what I mean? Here we come. You know, shout out to the president of Senegal. Let's go. Now, let's jump into some of these articles. Senegal's president seeks to end the presence of French troops in the West African nation. There will soon be no more French soldiers in Senegal, emphasizing the importance of national sovereignty. For Senegal to fully consider itself as a sovereign state, it must eliminate foreign military influence. The sentiment was echoed by the Senegalese head of state, who told AFP on Thursday that France should close all of its army outposts inside the country. Now, let's jump straight into the reactions on social media. This person said, Mali ended military ties with France. Burkina ended military ties with France. Niger ended military ties with France. Chad ended military ties with France. Senegal ended military ties with France. What is really happening? Now, this guy right here, I'm assuming he's a white Frenchman because he seems to be very upset by the recent developments. He said this: Mali, Niger, Chad, Senegal, they are all demanding our departure. It is their right. Our right now is to restrict their immigration, restrict their movement, and to cut off the financial tap. It is time to formalize the divorce with Africa. Now take a look up on the screen. This guy right here, he was the one who made those bold statements, right? He said it's time to formalize the divorce with Africa. It's time to restrict their immigration. You see, I don't know what is up with the Western white man, but he is obsessed with immigration, bro. Immigration is a hot button topic. Now, like I told you, they're not talking about the white immigrants, but like I told you, in the Western world, the white man is scared to death. His birth rates are in the toilet. The number one topic is immigration. They're desperately trying to hold on to the majority in the population in all their nations, bro. And it doesn't matter. The United States, Italy, Britain, France, they're all trying to maintain the white majority. That's why you see immigration constantly coming up in the political discourse, man. These guys are scared to death of being replaced, right? The great replacement conspiracy theory. These guys, man, they're obsessed with this topic of immigration, obsessed with the topic of birth rates. These dudes are going under a psychosis. But anyways, his declaration sparked off a lot of conversation. So let's jump into it. Let's see how folks reacted to this, this French white man, talking big shit. This person said, this will allow our essential workers, our engineers, technicians, doctors, and nurses to stay with us. You can take back your expats and your economic migrants, and we can keep our raw materials. This person said, Macron is tweeting in English, begging to stay in Africa. Now, in my video last night, I talked about how the president of Nigeria, Tinubu, recently went to France for a state visit. And take a look up on the screen. Emmanuel Macron was actually tweeting in Pidgin. He was actually tweeting in Nigerian Pidgin on Twitter. Right now, I'm not a Nigerian, so I'm going to butcher this. But Emmanuel Macron said this: "Now, big honor for France, dear President Bola Tinubu, to welcome you for this state visit as one big partner and friend of today and tomorrow. It's still they sweet me well as I remember. Say I be young intern for French embassy for Nigeria at that time." Man, listen, man. These dudes is some clowns, bro. These dudes is some clowns. These dudes is desperate, man. Got kicked out of Mali, Burkina Faso with Niger. Got kicked out of Chad and Senegal. Now you trying to run to the English-speaking Africans. You trying to run to Nigeria and Ghana. Man, like I told you before, you throw them out the front door, they try to climb back through the window, man. But what's even funnier is, take a look up on the screen. During this state visit between the president of Nigeria and France, Emmanuel Macron had French soldiers throwing a concert for Tinubu. Take a look up on the screen. They over there singing and dancing for the black man. The white man on stage singing and dancing for the black man, bro. That is how desperate they are in today's time. The white man is literally shucking and jiving for the black man, bro. That is how desperate they are to maintain their influence and their economic interests, bro. They are literally shucking and jiving. They literally monkey dancing on stage for the black man. This is this is hilarious to witness. Anyway, let's continue. This person said, the financial tap. You think you are pouring billions into Africa? You pour crumbs and you leave with raw materials at low prices. This person said, it's amazing how you connect one to the other, as if the condition for accepting Senegalese people in France was to have military bases there also. Now that's what I didn't understand, right? So the Senegalese president said that it's time to go. So this goofball white boy was like, all right, well, we're gonna send back your immigrants. We're gonna cut off your visas. And the person raised a great point. What does one have to do with the other? What does us asserting our sovereignty have to do with whether you accept us as migrants or not? That doesn't make any sense, right? So in order for us to go to France, we have to allow you to have a permanent military installation on our national territory? Meanwhile, we don't have any military installations on your national territory, and you would never allow that in the first place. So what are you really trying to say? What are you really trying to say? But like I said, these men are not our friends. These men are our enemies. Let's continue. This person said, tell that to the French multinationals, and let's also cut off all the wealth they exploit that allows you not to die of cold like chickens. My people talking their shit. I love to see my people talking with conviction and authority. Let's continue. This person said, the financial tap, as if France, indebted up to its neck, has the means to give gifts to Africa. Hey, man. Like I said, man, the arrogance of our enemies, man. But like I said, the reason for their arrogance is because these men are not informed on their own history. Their own school curriculum does not teach them the true history of their own people, of their ancestors, right? They give them a fairy tale, roses and daisies type of fictional story, some fairy tale story of how they truly came to power. These guys don't really know their true history. That's why they speak to the black man with such arrogance when they really should speak to the black man with extreme humility. Even in the video I did last night on the 1944 Senegalese massacre, they even said in the school curriculum, they don't even teach that. So they don't even know about the blood that their own people have spilled across the world. They don't even know their true history, right? That's why they speak with such arrogance. But it is what it is. Let's continue. This person said, think about asking the 250 French companies in Senegal that don't pay taxes to come back to your country. Forget once and for all about the uranium from Niger that lights up your homes. Find other markets to sell your shit. And finally, keep your homosexuality. Oh my God, they said, listen, you can keep your goddamn money and you don't even like women. You gay. They said, bro, you gay. Hey, not gonna lie, France is definitely one of the gayest countries in the world, right? How we gonna let these guys talk crazy to us, bro? Man, you guys are like one of the headquarters for homosexuality. How you gonna talk crazy to the black man? Man, get this guy up out of here, bro. Anyway, let's continue. This person said, we have oil, zinc, phosphate, gas, gold, but we had weak leaders who gave our raw materials to France for free. But now with the young people, everything will change, and soon the French will migrate to Africa to look for work. This person said, Africa demands its sovereignty. It is not a whim, but a right. If there is a divorce, start by returning the wealth plundered for centuries. Cut off the financial tap. Look at the economic flows. It is Africa that finances the comfort of the West, not the other way around. Yeah, like I always say, man, they always talking about, oh, we giving out aid to the Africans. We giving out aid to the Africans. And then you look at, where does the money come from for the aid? They take the money they made from their profits from doing business, from the multinational corporations, from their companies inside Africa. They take those profits, they take a fraction of those profits, they send it back to you. And they don't even send it to the government. They send it to their NGOs, right? And their NGOs recycle the money back into the French economy. So they're basically sending the money to themselves indirectly. And they talking about, we giving you so much aid. Man, listen, man. Let's continue. Move on. This person said, if we are so poor, then why are you always so angry when you are asked to leave? You seem so stupid that you refuse to see the obvious. It will be better to accept it now and reorient yourselves. At least try to save what can be saved. But listen, man, our enemies are so arrogant. Even as the empire is crumbling before them, they are still trying to maintain an aura of arrogance and condescension towards the black man, when really, you should really get on your knees and kiss the black man's feet. And maybe if you're lucky, we can work something out. But if you want to maintain your aura of arrogance, that's fine. The ship has capsized and it's sinking. But you don't want to accept the fact of the matter. You don't want to accept the reality that the ship is sinking, right? You want to still maintain this aura of greatness, French greatness. No. The French greatness has been exposed. The French greatness has been exposed for all to see. All that shit is smoke and mirrors. The French greatness has been exposed in front of the eyes of the whole world. Running around getting kicked out of this country left and right, knocking on doors like a homeless person. The so-called French greatness has been exposed. It's nothing but a bunch of smoke and mirrors. That shit is fake. Let's continue. This person said, you forgot that you have absolutely nothing. All the wealth you have comes from us and our leaders, these house Negroes. The financial tap you are talking about, it comes from us. France depends entirely on Africa. What do you have apart from your cheese? Yo, they roasted this boy, man. They roasted that boy. Listen, like I said, these guys are very arrogant. They're very condescending. So listen, sometimes you got to talk to the enemy in a very authoritative manner. What do you have apart from your cheese? What do you have apart from the fact that you are a tourist destination? I mean, I guess you can maintain your economy based on tourism, I guess. But I mean, goddamn, just from having access to the uranium at low prices, you were able to function as a middleman and sell uranium to other European nations, right? So France would go get the uranium from Africa, then they would function as a middleman and resell it at a markup to other European nations, right? But now you can't even do that. So now you got to go back. Now you got to go back to tourism. I mean, what else does France got? Tourism. I mean, I was gonna say athletics, but even in your athletics, all your athletic teams, your soccer teams, full of black men. So goddamn, even in the arena of athletics, you still ain't shit. Goddamn, bro. Now time out. Okay, I'll admit. Okay, France, you know, they got an automotive industry, right? They produce some of the ugliest cars I ever seen in my goddamn life, bro. I remember I went to France as a kid, and one thing I'll never forget, I was asking my mom, damn, ma, these cars is ugly in this country, ma, because we don't have ugly ass cars like these on American streets. We don't got ugly bullshit like this driving around on the pavement. What kind of bullshit is this? Some of the ugliest cars I ever seen in my life, boy. So I mean, you got your ugly ass cars. Okay, I'll admit, the French have good quality wines. They have good quality alcohol. I'll admit, you could probably, you know, sell your alcohol. You know, you could fall back. I mean, goddamn, you went from selling uranium to selling alcohol. Goddamn, bro, that's a big fall off. Goddamn. You used to be the middleman for the uranium. Now you're just reduced to selling liquor. Goddamn, like a goddamn street hustler. Wow. Look how the mighty have fallen. Okay, now time out. Okay, besides the wine, besides the ugly ass cars, you know, they got a good industry in terms of, you know, luxury designer clothes. We got to be honest, you know, even when we're talking about our enemies, we have to be honest. They have Louis Vuitton, they have Chanel, they have Dior. They have some good brands. They have some solid brands. And you know, black men love wearing these brands. So I gotta tip my hat in that arena, right? In the arena of alcohol, in the arena of luxury designer clothes, I tip my hat to the enemies. I tip my hat to my enemies. Y'all make some good shit. You know, listen, I can be honest. See, I'm an honest adversary. I'm not gonna down talk your name. I'm not gonna tell lies about you. How you tell lies about the black man. How you try to rewrite history about the black man. I'm gonna be honest I'm gonna tip my hat and pay homage and give credit what credit is due. Cause I'm a real man. Unlike you're a coward. You're a coward with no honor. So you lie about the black man. But I be honest about you. I tell the truth about you. Unlike you're a liar. You're a coward. You have no integrity. Now let's continue. This person said, the violence of your post means that you have been hit where it really hurts. Bear the pain. You do not have a monopoly on immigration restrictions. There are many French immigrants living in Africa. Now that's a fact. That's a fact. Now, if you decide, which they're not going to do it, but if you did decide to deport all African migrants, all African citizens back to their homeland, well, we can do the same thing for you. It's called reciprocity, right? So if you want to send our people back, we can send back your expats. We can send back your businessmen. We can send back your sex tourists back to France, right? We don't need you guys over here doing business. We don't need you guys over here trying to intermingle with our women. We don't need that. I would love for you guys to be gone, right? That would be a celebration. All the French businessmen, all the French sex tourists go back to France. All the French expats go back to France. That'll be amazing. That'll be amazing. Because that's the only reason y'all in Africa anyway. You're either doing business, or you're a washed up retired expat trying to take advantage of the lower cost of living, or you're a sex tourist trying to get in bed with our women. And in the grand scheme of things, you don't provide any value. You can go back home and do business in France. You can go back home and intermingle with your own women. You don't gotta be up in Africa. But for whatever reason, you guys cannot stay out of Africa. Every time we kick you out the front door, you try to climb back in through the window. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's continue. Now, Natalie Yam. She responded to this clown right now. Natalie Yam, I love Natalie Yam, Queen Mama Natalie Yam. This is the caliber of black women that our forefathers went to war for, that motivated our ancestors to go to war. I'm telling you, ready to die, bro. I'm telling you, this is the caliber of black woman that the black man need, right? This is the caliber of black woman that can really invoke inspiration and motivation into the black man. I love Natalie Yam. I love Natalie Yam. Behind every great black man was a woman like this who raised him, right? Now, Natalie Yam responded to this clown and she said this.
This message is for the French. So if you're not French, please leave the front row seats for our friends from France and Navarre. Hello, my name is Natalie Young, and I would like to understand something. De Gaulle himself dismissed the American army from France, believing that the permanent presence of foreign troops was an obstacle to national sovereignty. But every time an African country decides to tell the French army to leave its territory, We see French people crying scandal and even going on rants like, yeah, it's time to send all Malians, Nigerians, Burkinabes, Senegalese, and Chadians back home. Or even, yeah, we need to close the financial faucet or restrict migration. Next on also. So you have the right to deny foreign military bases in your country in the name of sovereignty, but Africans do not. But what is it? Is it ignorance? Is it stupidity? Is it bad faith? Or is it simply racism? In any case, know 4 things. First, feel free to send back all the African military personnel based in France. We agree with that. Well, there may not be many, perhaps none at all. Secondly, don't hesitate to deny visas to all Africans who apply. We agree with that and have been advocating for it for a long time. The world is vast, and this will allow many of us to go explore it and build networks elsewhere, spend our money on vacations and purchases elsewhere, study elsewhere, seek medical care elsewhere, and do business elsewhere. Thirdly, do not hesitate to stop all so-called development aid to African countries. We agree with that and have been advocating for it for a long time. It seems relevant to us that France should first help the French in the mainland and colonies who are sinking into poverty rather than wasting this money in Africa. I don't know if you know this, but your Minister of Strange Affairs, with that crazed look, just promised 7 million euros to Sudan. What do you have to do with Sudan? There are people who need that money just as much in Martinique, Guadeloupe, Mayotte, and even in mainland France. Heartfelt support to you, the Yellow Vests. Heartfelt support to you, we stand together. Fourthly, to conclude, do not hesitate to send back all the Africans who reside, work, or study in France. We also agree with this, but you will need to take care of us. To first return to us all our spiritual and cultural heritage kidnapped in your museums and previous collections. Return our gold held in the vaults of the Bank of France, and also settle the reparations you owe us. And of course, for the sake of reciprocity, we will also send back all the French individuals and businesses that are established with us. I could have said all this in another language I know, but I'm not sure you would have understood. Well, in the meantime, don't forget to drink plenty of water or Artemisia. It's very good for your health. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
All right, we back. Now, I just want to say, Natalie M, Neferkari Dessalines has the utmost respect and admiration for you. All love and respect. You see, women like Natalie Yam, you see, the Frenchman knows about our women. The Frenchman knows about the black woman. I'm not talking about the black women that be trying to date the Frenchman and run around, kissing and loving on the Frenchman. I'm talking about our foremothers who took that machete, who took that bayonet, who took the musket and killed your ass. Yeah. Back in Haiti, killed your ass. Yeah. In West Africa, killed your ass. Yeah. I remember there was one story. The French had invaded Dahomey, which is modern day Benin. And you know how in Dahomey, they had the female regiment of soldiers, right? There was one story how a 16-year-old girl, a 16-year-old Dahomey Amazon, had decapitated a French soldier with a machete with one swing of the machete, cut his head clean off. 16-year-old girl, bro. 16-year-old African girl, bro. The Frenchman knows about our women. I'm not talking about these women that be kissing them and loving on them nowadays. I'm talking about our foremothers who was killing them. Those are the women I'm talking about. Those are the women I die for. Those are the women that motivate me. I'm not talking about the modern day ones. I'm talking about the ancient ones that was marching on the Frenchman side by side with the black man, killing them, killing the enemy, bro. Those are the women. When I listen to Natalie Yam, that's the energy I get. I get the energy of the ancient black woman. I get the energy of the woo. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started, man. Anyway, in that video, Natalie Yam had mentioned Charles de Gaulle, right? She mentioned how back in the 1960s or whatever, back in World War II, Charles de Gaulle, I believe that was the leader of France during that time, he told the American government that they could not establish a military installation in France and you had to go. So she basically called them out on their hypocrisy. If Charles de Gaulle was able to tell the Americans it's time to go, why are you upset? Because us, as black men and women, we are telling you it's time to go. Take a look up on the screen. After 15 years of U.S. Air Force presence, French President Charles de Gaulle decided to evict the non-French NATO forces from France. He refused to store U.S. nuclear weapons on French soil. On the 7th of March, 1966, he announced that France would withdraw from the NATO military command structure. He gave foreign NATO forces 1 year to depart from France. Now, like she said, if Charles de Gaulle can tell the American government it's time to go, then the black man is well within his rights to tell Emmanuel Macron and his whole entire military it's time to go. Now, this gentleman jumped into the conversation, Nicholas Norman, the former ambassador of France to Mali, Congo, and Senegal. He said this: "No, it is not about a divorce with Africa, but about adapting or modernizing our relationship, abandoning certain archaisms such as useless military bases or the CFA franc, which gives a role to France that is not understood by the majority of Africans." Now you see this guy right here trying to be diplomatic, ironic because he is a diplomat, but yeah, he's trying to be diplomatic. He said, no, it's not about divorcing. It's just when we're adapting and modernizing and we are just, stepping into a new era, right? So like I said, man, these guys are very humble. Look how humble they're coming to the black man, right? They they're throwing concerts for Tinubu, trying to get into Tinubu's good graces so they can stay in Africa. I mean, it's a whole mess, right? It's a whole mess. You got Emmanuel Macron, tweeting in pidgin, talking like a Nigerian man, bro. It's a mess. The Frenchman is scrambling right now. It is a mess. It is a mess. But anyways, man. Wow. Anyways, it would never call us a lean back in the Billy. Yes, indeed. Cash app in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders, you know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife, yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city, they loving me. Standing alone, I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gate away. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drop a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders, you know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife, yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.